All right. How's it, everybody? Obviously, good to have everybody here for our, AMA with Protocol X. We've got Shib Lord, one of the guys from that side, and we're obviously going to have him on today. Speak a little bit more about the partnership side, what we're doing with them. Speak a little about just a quick in-depth, a little bit about their project as well, so our guys can get a little bit more sense of what you guys are doing. Then we'll speak a lot about the partnership side, what we're trying to accomplish, having this partnership between our two protocols to obviously give each other utility and make sure like we said earlier, trying to bring that good back to DeFi and see obviously the long term visions. But before we go in there, Shiblot, if you wouldn't mind, introducing yourself, just a quick description of your background as well.
Yeah, so I just want to start off by saying, hey, thank you guys for reaching out and hosting this AMA here. Definitely look forward to talking with you guys today, here, and in the future, of course. But my name is Neil, or Shiblord in the socials. For those who do not know, I am doxed fully. I live over in West Texas, United States, and I'm KYC'd by Ashore. My entire team is doxed as well. I have a kind of vast background. Grew up in Pennsylvania, joined the military at 17, kind of worked in the military and public service fields for the most part, got my economics degree from Penn State. So I've kind of been heavily involved in the financial side for quite some time of my life. Probably started heavy getting into, the real old school investing, like the Roth IRAs and all that back when I was 18 or so. And then as I transitioned further, I got involved with crypto in about 2018 just as an investment opportunity. And then from there, this past January is when I got my first community manager role in a crypto protocol, and it was kind of interesting and kind of fun, got me a little bit more engaged into it. Fast forward a little bit even more, May I went full-time crypto right in the depths of that bear market there, but it allowed me to even grow my skills further, and ultimately to the point that we've now built up this project here called ProtocolX. So I have a lot of experience with small business in the real world, with people skills in the real world, and also a variety of different financial levels beyond crypto and in crypto.
No, that's perfect. That's not short. I'm just saying. But anyway,
Yeah, it's one
all
breath.
right.
So
I'm not going to. I'm not going to give my background. I'm sure, obviously, when we do this again in 2 days on your channel, we'll do it then. So a lot of the guys, you guys all obviously know me as Jason, also fully docs. KYC crypto audit. I'm actually a code, so I'm also audited. Just to let you know, I'm an Enigma. But anyway, Shivlord, a quick, obviously, description of Protocol X, what you guys are doing. Let's give a brief rundown to obviously the guys listening and for the recorded people as well, so they understand what you guys are doing on Orbit, and then after that we can get more into the partnership side and what we're going to be doing together.
heck yeah. So this project that we have here, Protocol X, is at the most fundamental level. It's a rebase project on the Binance Smart Chain. So over there on BSC, very similar to Spring and many others that are out there, but a little different tokenomics, of course. So what is a rebase project? All that means is you buy tokens and it auto compounds in your wallet. If you just want to take a mental note, it's kind of like if you were staking a token and getting a daily APR. In our case, you don't have to stake it, you just buy the tokens and it rebases automatically in your wallet. We are currently also developing our own DEX that should hopefully be done in the next couple of days. It was supposed to be done last week, but we know how developers go, so it'll come up here very shortly. We also are developing a revenue share NFT mechanism that will be available in probably the next month or so, and that'll allow those who get those NFTs via mints or other aspects there, they'll get a piece of the revenue that comes into the project distributed back to them. Just a revenue share NFT model. So we have a little bit going on in the ecosystem, but this was primarily designed as an aspect of sustainability in a rebase protocol. So how do you do that with the rebase token? You have to be very aggressive in your strategies, and you have to be overly transparent to reaffirm what you're doing there, and also obviously have solid, successful opportunities as well. So we do it a lot within the contract to promote sustainability variables, including a decreasing APR over time. So this month 1, it's 1.77% APR, and by month 12, we're going to be a fixed 0.5% daily APR. So it decreases by 10% each month over 12 months, so that we get down there a little bit further. We're also having our custom LMS put in here in the next probably week or so. Well, that'll go live from the contract side. And then, of course, the other variables within the contract are just generally the buy and sales tax, the more so basic tokenomics that support the LP, the buyback and burns, the treasury, all that good stuff there. And then beyond that, we have invested quite significantly in outside revenue sources, including trading bots, and partnered very strategically with other projects as well to support the token price and the revenue from outside of our current platform. So we have revenue coming in from places that are not involved with Protocol X or even really with DeFi in a sense. Yeah, they are traded on a market, but they're not like trading or investing in projects. We have strategic partnerships. We have a variety of different mechanisms built into the contract, all with the purpose of sustainability in the long term here. Volume is low. It is what it is in our markets here. You got to keep working and keep building, and that's what we're doing on our end. So it's been pretty exciting, and we're bringing a lot of new things to the DeFi space, but very, very new things to the rebase side of protocols on BSC. And I kind of look forward to how this plays out over the course of the years that we'll be working on it.
Yeah. We've seen what you guys are doing. We would love to see that. The fact that you don't sit on your hands, that you're working. I mean, it's very similar to us here at Spring. It doesn't matter that there's no 1 minute that you're free, and if there is 1 minute that you're free, you're trying to look for something to do, and that's how we've obviously done our approach as well. You got to be innovative, you got to be creative, and the initiative to get up and actually do something is what we try and see ourselves and pride ourselves in doing. We're always looking at trying to build for the future, because we know the future and what it obviously holds. And the things that we're obviously planning as well, very similar to you guys. I think a lot of our guys know that in here already. But at the same time, trying to build these ecosystems with trusted people and trusted partnerships like yourself to do things in a manner that's good for the DeFi space. So no, obviously loving it from your side. And then yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the partnership. What we're going to bring for you guys, what you guys are going to bring for us, what we're going to do mutual, obviously, marketing, and let's explain that to the people. I'll let you start off with that, and I'll add one or two bits in, just so we can give the guys a little bit of understanding about what we're going to be doing for each other as well.
Yeah, so when the initial conversation came up, it was more so just kind of mutual marketing, see how each other can develop in the space in a variety of different ways, particularly from the community aspect. But then you guys brought up how you are developing an e-commerce kind of system here coming up in the near future. And that's what kind of really piqued my interest, is particularly because it can be utilized with our native PTX token in order to facilitate that sort of merchandise mechanism there. And while that isn't necessarily what most protocols are designed to do, like we are not an e-commerce platform, it's just one additional way to increase the utility of our token and allow people to engage with it if they want. And the way that I would design it there is any proceeds that generate profit from said sort of venture would go right back into the protocol. 100% of it goes back in. So it's just a way maybe someone can then support the protocol while they still benefit in some aspect there. So it's kind of exciting there. But beyond that, I like the mutual marketing. I like identifying teams that have a great vision and have done a little bit different in the space as well, and start working with them on a variety of levels, because iron sharpens iron in the most clear sense. So if you work with each other, you could bounce ideas off each other. I'm not afraid of you guys stealing my ideas or vice versa there. So there's really no hostility. It just allows us to come together, because whether we like it or not, we're all the small fish in the space compared to those who are, hundreds of millions of market cap. Yeah. So we got to come together there. And I really like the idea of that e-commerce kind of side. But maybe you can go a little more detail on how that would work and kind of how that works with your protocol and then those who partner with you.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of people obviously coming in for that reason. I don't think a lot of our guys in here know, but there's going to be a couple people that are already partnered that are going to hit the ground running when this e-commerce obviously happens. And it's the same for us. Anybody will be able to use their token, their native token, same as the Spring token, on this e-commerce site. And it's not just people with DeFi projects. It's going to be marketed to people outside of crypto as well. So it's going to bring in a lot of utility, not just for other partnerships, and them coming in and bringing in, obviously, which obviously helps our token as well, but that people can use their own token, which generally, obviously, same as what it would do for you guys, is obviously putting a percent always back into their, obviously, contract. So we're doing a lot of different things, and we obviously haven't decided exactly, how we're going to push it as well, because we're slowly releasing bits of information, letting people obviously see what we're doing in the background, but instead of obviously keeping everything and dropping it on a bombshell like once every 2 weeks, we've decided to do a new approach and give small bits of information every 2 days, every 3 days, keep people in the loop, because that way they could also bring up with more suggestions and ways that we could obviously always do things better. I mean, same as why we're partnering. We're looking to bounce ideas off each other. But I mean, if you think about it, me and you as two peoples from two different people from two different protocols, we've got 20 people in here right now, 30 people in here right now that could be giving the same great input. And that's how we like to see it with our community as well. So we're really, taking a step back on, diving too much. We've got to obviously bring the communities in, because the communities have just as great ideas. Everybody's looking. I mean, I'm sure everybody in this call would want to start their own project at some point, and they've learned from my project, they've learned from your project, they've learned from 10 other ones that they've been in. And I'm sure by the end of this, everybody's going to be a master and be able to create their own project. So I love the mutual marketing side of everything as well. I mean, I think, in a trusted community of bringing the right projects in to an ecosystem, whether it be 10, 20, 30 different partners, at the end of the day, you're looking for trusted partners. You're looking for people that have got track records. You're looking for people that have had, time in the space, but not just that, that know what they're talking about. And like you say, firstly, the things you mentioned in the beginning, with KYC, docs, audited, what, those are all, you have to have that before you even go on to a conversation. So I'm loving the fact that we're obviously getting into things like that to obviously develop both sides. And this mutual marketing is not just targeted at each other's communities, but helping both communities grow with outside our community. And that's very important, doing this in a way that is organic, but at the same time, it helps the sustainability, it helps the longevity of the project. So that's quite exciting for us. And then more on the e-commerce side, it's going to have a variety of obviously products, that are all built from the ecology side. We want to keep things. That's been a huge talking point for the last couple of years, especially in government, and with regulations now starting to come in and finalize. And I think by the time we have the next bull run, we're going to know a lot more, you know. And because it's such a big talking point, climate change, and there's going to be things put in place before projects are even able to get off the ground. So we believe it is a big niche in the market that will be obviously capitalized and grow tremendously. But same as the play to earn what we're doing, and that's why we want to bring in a lot of great protocols, that can build this ecosystem with us. And we got one or two big partnerships coming up that are focused on this, while we focus on other point. But it's going to be a joint venture where one will focus on this, one will focus on that. But basically, it's almost like a sister company where they're doing things together to get to the same goal, but two different companies, two different things tackling two different missions. And we want to have that with 30 different partners, all tackling and working toward the same goal, and creating a huge ecosystem that can all benefit from each other. That's where we see it coming from.
Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. And the things you brought up there, the aspects of climate change are very real. And I live in the U.S., but that's literally worldwide, except for maybe one or two countries out there that don't follow the rules super well. But that being said, for the most part, it's going
Yeah.
to be a very real thing, is incorporating that aspect into any business. And crypto's kind of the same way. I've always kind of said that crypto is like real world business, because I've worked at a boat dealership, owned one with my family as well. That's been around for decades and decades. Crypto business is very similar to real business, but it's just a little bit more emotional and quick twitched. So instead of that,
Yeah.
slow build, they need a little bit quicker here, which is great. It's great for the space and all that stuff there, but it's, the networking side of it's very important as you develop additional aspects. And there's so many things that I've already seen out there in reference to, different kinds of climate change ventures, whether it's reducing, CO2 emissions or whatever the case might be. And I think there's going to be a big gap that needs to be filled at some point. And you guys got into that several months ago, which is early. There's a couple out there that are kind of doing, not similar to what you guys are doing, but they're doing that same kind of climate change push, and it's going to work well for people in the long term. I'm pretty sure on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure you're referencing, like a protocol like Kyoto that are busy building a layer one blockchain, and they like to call it refi, which is actually what we are. You're using DeFi, regenerative, obviously finance, to do better in the world. To try and take down carbon emissions, but at the same time, with releasing oxygen, trees are a perfect way to do that. And there's obviously a lot of people putting a lot of research into better ways, and we're actually going to have them on one of these days as well. Just to let you guys know, there's another partnership coming. So Kyoto being a big one, and a lot of people will understand what refi is actually going to be. But they will leave that for another, obviously, day. I'm sure they'll be able to explain it in a lot better depth than I can, seeing as those days. But yeah, I do believe it is going to be huge, and it's definitely one of the next big things in crypto, refi, but as well as play to earn. And I think we've hit the nail on both ends of that. And we're going to be focusing on these 2 points going forward in the future. So that's what we're trying to do, and trying to give a lot more utility to the partners, but obviously building this ecosystem out with great protocols and letting them come in and obviously enjoy our utility. But at the same time, that's giving to our community as a whole. So that's what our plan was behind that. And we're glad you guys could fit into that as well, as soon as we do like what you guys are doing. And the fact that you guys do have a great community and the things that you are building out is obviously very much in line with what we're trying to do. So there's pointless, trying to do all these things separate. Like you said, partnering up, bouncing ideas, all getting to the same goal. But if you can imagine, 30 different protocols, all aiming towards the same thing, it's just going to be a leader in the space, and that's what we plan to be for everybody, and not just us being the head of it. It's going to be a round table, so everybody within the partnership is going to be as equal to the other, and that's the whole goal of this, to show that equality, but at the same time the trust and working towards a common goal. That's our long-term vision as well.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing here is we all have to work, relatively side by side in the space. And I even had people chime up and say, "Hey, you guys are kind of putting together a lot of partnerships. Is that like a positive?" And in my head, I'm like, "Yeah, if my community wants to invest in Spring, then so be it. I'm not worried about that kind of stuff, because if you are, you won't succeed. That's a little too like nippy in a sense. And Kyoto's pretty big time, and for that partnership there, it could be the same thing. You could have people invest in Kyoto, but it's the bigger vision, it's the bigger purpose that you guys are looking to do that you're really focused on, which is what'll differentiate projects like that from some of the others that are just trying to undercut each other and fight for its spot and freak out over any movement, because that won't survive. But those who can actually build legitimate foundations to grow in the future, that'll kind of get everyone worked up over time and get them really all pushing on all cylinders, which is really necessary for the space. We've seen so much, you know, PC. We've seen so much nonsense over the last year or so that it's kind of refreshing to see projects take a little bit of a different approach as they start building, even with their long-term visions. Not everyone's going to work out in how they do, but I like the difference of ideas that are now in DeFi compared to where it was a year ago, where there was nothing. It was just a simple project, and it would make a ton of money, and then it would lose 99.999% of its value, and then someone would move on from there. So it's a little refreshing.
Yeah, agreed. We got to bounce ideas, and keep learning, from all other people's, like you say, there's so many, projects out there, and if you're not, trying to bounce ideas off each other and learn from each other, it's pointless. I mean, you can call people bad actors. I mean, we've just seen what's happened in the last couple of days. The fact is, you could either look at it negatively and curl up in a ball, or you can learn from each and every situation. And growing these partners, like we're doing, obviously on your side as well, Shib, is that we have to learn from each other. We need to bounce ideas. We need to grow these partnerships in a way that's going to not just benefit each other and each other's communities, but DeFi as a whole, and create a better space. And I think what we're doing here is obviously very important, and I think we are working towards that, and that's obviously a great goal of ours, and you guys as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just pretty cool to work in the space in general. So, you guys bring a lot of the gamification side of it, and a variety of different things there that's very appealing to those who are in crypto. And, Rebase, I've always loved Rebase protocols. I've been invested in many of which over the last year plus at this point. It's actually September. So, I guess whenever they started coming out way back when I was really getting engaged with them. But that being said, it's like you said, everyone has their own little niche in this space, and it's pretty interesting to kind of see how each other develop and grow from here. And I love the idea of NFTs, and I love the idea of building for a longer term solution to the space. And quite frankly, I even love the e-commerce side of it. It's an area that we talked about a little bit early on with ProtocolX, but we didn't really get too far into it. I see my graphics designer or the core team member walks in the chat. He definitely created some amazing templates for us back before we even talked to you guys. So we've had that idea in our head to start bringing stuff like that live and really allow it to kind of grow and develop. So there's a lot going on here, and it's pretty cool to be able to kind of fall into line there and let these grow and develop. And by the time we get out of this crazy market that we're in, we'll all be riding high on the back end, and it's going to be a whole different place than where it was the last bull, but nevertheless, it'll come again. It can only be down for so long. So eventually we'll all come back.
It's great. It's great being born in a bear market because there's only one way up, you know.
Yeah, sure. You got to survive and
And
build, and it grows.
exactly, exactly. And we've got the time now to build and obviously everything like that. So that's beautiful. And we obviously share your sentiment regarding obviously the utility that we're building within each other. I know your guys that are going to love the e-commerce, and you know we just as excited about it, you know, to bring as many people onto it as possible. Like I said, not just, you know, within crypto, but outside as well. And that's where we see the same vision as well. But yeah, I mean, we've spoken about quite a lot. I think we've got the basics down. I'm just actually going through the chat as well to check if we do have any, you know, questions for anybody in the chat. Looks like everybody's quite chilled right now, so that's, you know, a first where nobody's got any questions. Anything from your side, Shiv?
Yeah, I don't think I see anything too much in here. But if you guys do have questions, post them around. If you are, more comfortable to post in my Discord over there, definitely check that out. The AMA questions, you can post it there. But it's not a whole lot in mine either. Just people that tuned in here. They look like they're just in the chat engaging. So if you guys have questions, hit us up. I'm more than happy to answer them there. I love doing these AMAs, and it sounds like you guys kind of do the same. So hit us up here.
Yeah, yeah, but a little bit different, a little less structured, but then you get the true people out, you know, and that's what I like. You know, it's not too set at the same time. It's having a great conversation, but you can actually see, you know, the vision and mission of people because then you get to understand who they really are deep down and outside of crypto. So that's what we like to do, and you know, talking about these partnerships, letting people know, you know, we could have had a conversation like this without the community listening, but it's so beneficial to have these little conversations and what we're trying to do like we've probably already had, but just in front of the community and let them know what you're doing because then they can understand what the long term visions are and you're actually working towards it. You're not sitting on your hands and we're all building towards something. And yeah, we definitely need to do more of these going forward. And I believe what we've taken an approach where with our community every Monday we're going to be, you know, doing an AMA with them and giving them updates and what like that. And we'll definitely have you back here again. You know, if you've got any big updates, you know, if we've got any big updates, we'll definitely share it with each other and make sure the communities understand this larger goal that we have for everybody.
Yeah, and of course, you guys are going to be in our Discord tomorrow, the same time as well. So maybe you'll get some questions from my audience over there. But definitely the same, man. Like I don't mind just hopping in, doing little AMAs, just giving people some information. I do a lot of them, so I actually enjoy it. And even if I don't have brand new information, I just like chilling and engaging with the community. That's a great thing. You guys doing them every week, you'll be surprised what that does over time. So once they're used to that same time, same place every week, it really gets people, it gets them like on a schedule for it. And I think that's an underrated thing. And, I don't know if you guys have ever talked to the people over at Thor, but I've had plenty of personal conversations with Colin or Loki or whatever he goes by over there. And that's when I
Yeah.
started doing that for my communities is have a set day for AMAs, same time, same place, get the recordings out quick for people. And it really does increase community engagement. Even if the chats aren't going, you'll next thing you know, your AMAs have, 60 people in them and the questions are popping off every week, even if it's just chilling and engaging with you. So I love that kind of thing there. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, from my side, I just want to say thank you very, very much for taking your time out, come chatting with us, letting our guys know a little bit about what we're going to be doing in the future, the partnership, what utilities it'll bring both to Spring as well as to obviously Protocol X. We'll definitely, a couple of my guys in my army over here, my Springsters will follow me Thursday. We'll come do an AMA on your channel, let your guys know a little bit more about what we're trying to do for them, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
All right, hey, sounds good. And definitely appreciate the hostess here. And what's up to everyone that's in the chat. We will talk to you all very soon. Check us out if you have any questions. DMs are opened. And I guess I'll be talking to you probably tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah. Tomorrow, I think that is, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, guys, if you've got any obviously inkling of any questions that you would like to ask about Protocol X, you're more than welcome. The links for obviously, them are in the obviously channels. We've already released them. We will obviously link them again. And yeah, check them out. They're obviously doing some amazing stuff, and they're gonna be using your e-commerce system one of these days. So I think we're all going to be using the same system one of these days, which is amazing. But yeah, once again, thank you very much for having me. We'll definitely chat to you again, and yeah, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, appreciate it. We'll talk to you all pretty soon.